Hello everyone, I am Chase here at Rocky Mountain ATVMC, and these are my top 5 etiquette tips for riding track. All right, so as you guys can see, we're out here to burn some laps at a local motocross track. And I just want to share with you guys my top 5 etiquette tips. Whether you've been riding for years and you ride track a lot, or maybe you're just getting into track riding, you're new to it, there's certain etiquette that I think every dirt rider or dirt biker should follow when they're at the track. So these are going to be my top 5 tips that are going to make you safer, help other people be safer, and just make everyone happier at the track. So my first tip, it's really simple, and it's just ride within your skill level. You know, if you're new to riding tracks, if you're gonna go out for the first time, you just gotta understand what level you're at. So if you're riding an advanced track and there's a lot of jumps on the track and you're not able to do all the jumps, but most of the riders are, if it's a really busy day, you just gotta know that you wanna be comfortable. So it might not be the best day to ride on that track. You know, a lot of different tracks that I go to, they'll have vet and beginner tracks. So make sure if they have those available, we'll start there. Those are gonna be easier, have easier jumps, and then you're gonna be riding with other people at your skill level. If you're riding on an advanced track and you're not able to do all the jumps and you're uncomfortable, you can put yourself and you can put other riders at risk. And also, a lot of times when you go to a track, they'll have time practices. And what you wanna do is you wanna sign up for the class that's gonna be at your skill level. I see a lot of riders, yeah, we all wanna ride in a class with the faster guys, and I understand that, but if you're a beginner rider, don't feel like you need to sign up with the intermediates or even the pro class because you want to say that you ride with those guys. It's important, just know your skill level and ride there. And once you get comfortable, you can work your way up. And I'm telling you, that's gonna make you safer. It's gonna keep other riders safer as well. So that's gonna be my first tip, is just ride within your skill level. So for my second tip, it's gonna be don't cross jump and hold your line. And this is probably one of the biggest reasons I see that riders getting hurt at the track is cross jumping. When you're coming up to a jump, you wanna make sure you're jumping straight. Okay, if you jump across a jump and there's a rider right behind you and he goes off, well, if you jump across, there's a very good chance that rider could land on you, and that's never a good thing. I've seen it happen way too often. So it's really important that whenever you're going off a jump, even if you're rolling the jump, you wanna make sure it go as straight as possible, don't cross jump, and because every rider that's out there on the track, if they're right next to you or they're just behind you and they're coming up off a jump too, they expect you to go straight. And if you don't go straight, bad things can happen. And going along with that, the other part is hold your line. So if you're riding, you're coming to an inside corner and there's a rider behind you, and even if you know he's faster than you, okay, don't feel pressured like you need to dart out of the way and move to the outside of the track. Or if you're on the outside, don't feel like you need to move to the inside. If he's faster than you, he'll get around you, okay? That's what riders do. So just make sure if you're coming to a corner or anywhere on the track and you know there's a rider behind you and you feel like he's gonna pass you, just stay where you're at, okay? That rider's expecting you to hold your line and go straight. So if you're on the inside of a corner, stay on the inside. If you're on the outside, stay on the outside. That way the rider can anticipate where you're going and he can make the pass safely, and you can just continue on your way. So that's gonna be my second tip, is hold your line and make sure you don't cross jump. So my third tip is gonna be entering and exiting the track in designated areas. Every track is gonna have specific locations for you to enter and exit the track because they want you to do it safely. So it's never a good idea, regardless of where you are on the track, even if you don't feel like there's any riders around you, when you enter the track, enter where you're supposed to, make sure you're watching, enter at a good time, obviously. But exiting the track, this is where I see a lot of bad things happen, is because riders will exit the track early, or maybe they'll be on the far left side of the track and they want to exit, so they'll move over to the right, but they're not looking behind them to see if there's a rider coming up. So it's really important, enter the track where it's designated, wait for a good time, don't floor it and just peel out and try and get ahead of a rider, wait for them to pass. And then when you're exiting the track, same thing. Make sure you're exiting, you're not riding all the way across the track when you're doing that, and just exit in the designated spot. And I tell you, that's gonna make you a whole lot safer. And again, you gotta be predictable. When riders are seeing you exit the track, they gotta know that's what you're doing. Same thing when you're entering. Riders should know that, hey, there's a rider about to enter, and it's your job to enter safely. So that's gonna be my third tip, is enter and exit the track in a designated area. So for my fourth tip, it's gonna be parking lot etiquette. And I honestly feel like I could do a top 5 just on parking lot etiquette. So nothing drives me more insane than when I'm at a track and there's riders that feel like they need to practice doing starts and pulling hole shots in a parking lot. When you're in a parking lot, you just slow down. You don't need to go ripping through the parking lot, popping wheelies. It's not necessary. You know, people are getting dressed up, they're getting on their bikes. I've seen accidents happen in the parking lot. I watched a guy wheelie over one time and knock himself out. So just know that the parking lot, go slow, especially in a dirt parking lot when everyone's parked and lined up. No one likes to get dusted out, so you don't need to just floor it down the parking lot. Now, the other part of parking lot etiquette that I have, and some of you may or may not agree with this, is sound. When I'm in the parking lot, look, we all know your bike sounds good. You've got your exhaust on there. We all love to rev our bikes. I get it. But I want to keep my hearing as long as possible. So when I'm getting dressed up, I'm getting ready to go out and ride, I don't need you to do sound testing like you're getting ready for an AMA Supercross race. You don't need to sit there and hit the rev limiter and just floor your bike. You can, but for me, honestly, sometimes it gets obnoxious and it's just really, really loud. I want to wait till I'm on the track to start hearing exhaust. If you have a two-stroke, I'll make an exception. Two-strokes sound really good. They're not as loud. But really, in my opinion, you can let your bike warm up. You don't need to sit there and just rev it the whole time. So that's going to be my fourth tip, is just having good etiquette in the parking lot. All right, so for my fifth and final tip, it's pretty simple. We are not here to win practice. When you're at a track and you're out riding, everyone's here just to have a good time. Everyone wants to be safe. And I see a lot of guys that get really competitive and feels like they have to be the fastest guy on the track. So when you're riding out there, if there's a rider in front of you and yeah, he might not be as fast as you and you want to get around him, you don't need to be doing block passes on guys. If there's an 85cc rider and he's faster than you and you get mad, we've all been there. You don't need to try and take out the 85 rider. But just have a good time. You don't need to win practice. You don't have to be the fastest guy out there. If there's a guy behind you and you know he's faster than you, you don't need to be a semi-truck and be as wide as you can and try and block the lines and keep him from passing you. Just hold your line like we talked about earlier and just let that rider go by. And also, if you're passing the guy, one of my pet peeves is if I let you by me because I know you're faster than me, I'm being courteous, I really don't like getting roosted, okay? Nobody does, that's why I wear a chest guard. But however, if you're passing a guy, just be conscious of where he's at behind you. You know, you don't need to just sit there, hold it wide open in second gear, and then roost the guy behind you if it's not necessary. If you gotta get on the gas to get over a jump around the corner, I understand that. But if you got a long straightaway, or there's a section of the track where you just don't have to just pin it and get it wide open, that's gonna really help the rider out behind you, because I'm sure we've all been in that situation where a rider goes past us, we start getting roosted, next thing you know, we're ducking our head and we're just pretty much pulling off the track because it hurts so bad. So that's my fifth and final tip. It's just know when you show up to the track, we're all here to have a good time. Everyone wants to be safe. You don't need to win practice. All right, guys, so there they are. Those are my top 5 etiquette tips. Those are things that I feel that every rider should be doing at the track or shouldn't be doing to say. So if you have suggestions or other things that you want to see riders doing more of or maybe not so much of, well, make sure you comment below and share those with us. Now make sure you click subscribe to us on YouTube. We have a lot of great how-to videos, product spotlights, and gear guides. Also, don't forget, orders over $75 ship free. And on our website at RockyMountainATVMC.com, we have a huge selection of parts, apparel, and accessories. So get over there and get yourself ready for your next ride. I'm Chase here at Rocky Mountain. We'll see you on the trails.